welcome to another episode of Podcast DX, the show that brings you interviews with people just like you whose lives were forever changed by a medical diagnosis. I'm Lita. Ron will not be with us today.
And I'm Jean Marie.
Collectively, we're the hosts of Podcast DX. Today we're speaking about government organizations, regulations, and policies here in the U.S. that are meant to keep the American public safe. Our topic is product recalls and your health.
There's been a recent change in the United States regulations, and it's the first big change since 1938. So the Modernization of Cosmetic Regulation Act, or MOCRA, of 2022 is the first major policy update, like I said, since the 1938 Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. And that act was the one that helped, regulate things like arsenic in your pickle relish and things like that, and hopefully eliminate things like that. The MOCRA requires the following. It requires mandatory reports by manufacturers of serious adverse health events caused by cosmetic products. It requires the Food and Drug Administration to establish good manufacturing practices that all manufacturers will be required to follow. It requires cosmetic facilities to register with the FDA and provide a list of products and product ingredients, including...
Hold one.
Yes.
Go back to number 2.
Okay.
Requires the Food and Drug Administration to establish good manufacturing practices in all manufacturers. Did you know?
Okay, I do know that you're talking very loudly to
I'm
someone
sorry.
with a migraine.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Did I know?
Did you know that they are finding those forever chemicals, the PFAS? Is that what they are?
Okay.
Are they?
Where are they finding them?
On almost everything, because they are part of the equipment. They have to treat the equipment with those forever chemicals to keep them running, and then the chemicals get into the product that way.
Do you want to? Can we talk about that like on another episode?
I'll just put a link on the website.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. It requires cosmetic facilities to register, I said, with the FDA, and provide a list of products and product ingredients, including ingredients in fragrance and flavors, to the agency, it's astonishing that this is something new. But if you think about it, I mean, people would talk about, what's in this product and not knowing for a long time in terms of makeup and cosmetics. It also requires manufacturers to keep records that show safety, substantiation of a product so that, it is a safe product to utilize. It requires labeling of fragrance allergens for all cosmetics and labeling of ingredients in professional use only products that will be used by salon workers, because if you're utilizing it on a regular basis, you need to know if it's going to have adverse health effects.
Oh, yeah.
It allows the FDA to request records related to a product's safety, substantiation, and ingredients if there are concerns that a product may be misbranded or adulterated. And it gives the FDA authority to request a mandatory recall of products that are misbranded or adulterated. It also exempts small businesses from having to meet these requirements. It preempts states from passing more stringent laws related to registration, product listing, good manufacturing practice records, recalls, adverse event reporting, and other safety substantiation. And it requires the FDA to establish a standardized testing method for detecting asbestos in talc-containing products, because where they
weren't doing that before?
No.
Oh.
Well, I mean, where you're mining for talc, it's a geological thing. It's often, there'll be asbestos there as well.
Right, okay.
And it requires the FDA to assess the use and safety of those forever chemicals that you were talking about, the PFAS chemicals in cosmetics.
Right. And those PFAS chemicals are in cosmetics, right?
Yeah, there have been a few studies on the presence of PFAS in cosmetics. And according to the Environmental Protection Agency, the group of man-made chemicals are very persistent in the environment and in the human body, meaning that they don't break down and they can accumulate over time.
Wow.
So the per and polyfluoroalkyl substances exposure, it's dangerous according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And because it can cause health problems such as, an increase in cholesterol levels in the blood, it can increase your risk to develop cancer, interfere with hormones in the body and the performance of the thyroid, reduce the effectiveness of one's immune system. It changes the function of some organs, such as the liver and the pancreas, and it can result in potentially low body weight for newborn babies.
Wow. Those are strong chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the FDA says that certain PFAS are intentionally added to ingredients as ingredients in some cosmetic products, including lotions, cleansers, nail polish and shaving cream, foundation, lipstick, eyeliner, eyeshadow, and mascara. These PFAS are used in cosmetics in conjunction. I can't talk today. Start over, Jack. These PFAS are used in cosmetics to condition and smooth the skin, making it appear shiny. Who wants that? Okay. Or
Yeah.
or to affect product consistency and texture. So how do you shop for cosmetics that don't have PFAS in them, and when so many are flying under the radar?
Well, if you were to be one that shops for cosmetics,
Yeah.
you would see that there is definitely a movement towards free cosmetics that are free of all of those things, and you'll find that in large companies that they have a whole section for known for products that are known to not include such items.
Okay.
And if you're cautious, you read the labels and you take the advice based on one study done by the University of Notre Dame. They suggest that you have a better chance of avoiding those chemicals. So you have to be an informed consumer. There's
the PFAS. The reason the PFASs are in the cosmetics is because they make them long lasting or waterproof.
right, and it's so our desire to it's our desire to look a certain way that results in their desire to make it work, and unfortunately PFAS chemicals are involved in that.
Okay. Well, the new regulation requires cosmetic manufacturers to report any serious adverse health events. But what if customers have adverse events and don't even know that the cosmetic was to blame?
Right. Well, I know we've spoken about adverse event reporting to the FDA on a previous episode, and consumers can see the report. We'll include a bit.ly link on our website for that.
All right. Well, moving on from PFAS, let's talk about other recalls that you should be aware of. Everything from shampoo, hair color, bed bath wipe packs, cleansing wipes, eye drops, nose spray, ear drops, mouthwash, skin cream, baby powder, laundry detergent, tampons, shaving cream have been recently recalled for bacteria, lead, belladonna, benzene, asbestos, or other concerning contaminants.
Yeah, one that really surprised me was that Pine Sol recall. It's not a cosmetic product, but here you have a product that is meant to clean.
Yeah.
But it was contaminated with bacteria. And I had the same thing happen with my mouthwash.
Oh, yeah.
They said you need to dispose of that right away because it's contaminated with bacteria, or potentially contaminated with bacteria. So something that's really important are those safe manufacturing policies, and sticking to a stringent policy, and what goes into the end product has to be monitored. Also, like laundry detergent recently, that was huge. That it also had was people were breaking out in rashes because there was contamination in the laundry detergent because the water they used was contaminated.
Oh, they are. Well, this is a different topic, but they are going to start using more concentrated laundry detergents
with less
water.
Right. It reduces on shipping costs.
Right.
And yeah, you can add the water at home.
And maybe it'll cut back on some of these kind of problems.
Right. Well, many bacteria need, they're
water.
Hydrophilic, right? They need water.
Right. That's why honey cannot grow bacteria, because it has such a low, that's why they say, has such a low water content. All right. Well, as far as lead contaminant recalls, there are 39 pages with 10 items on a page from 1976 to present.
That contains lead. Okay.
Yeah, I'll put a link for that on our website.
Okay. And there are also about 390 different items that the most ironic part of this research is that the lead care blood tests were also recalled due to a falsely low result that they were providing.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there's so if you can't, and a product also needs to do what it says it's going to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it says it's going to check for lead, it should check for lead.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one on our list is new to me. Belladonna. Isn't that a poisonous plant like Romeo and Juliet deadly? Why would anybody be using it for anything?
Well, it's been used for centuries and used in for cosmetic purposes. And when used correctly in appropriate doses, belladonna is safe to use as part of regular medicinal practices. It's important to note that even ingesting a small amount of the leaves or berries can be deadly, and small children and infants are particularly at risk. So you want to be sure that you utilize extreme caution when storing medicines that do contain belladonna, or any medicines, truly, which makes me wonder why the pharmaceutical company in New Jersey that put it in babies' homeopathic teething tablets did so. The FDA recall stated that consumers should seek immediate medical care if their child experiences seizures, difficulty breathing, lethargy, excessive sleepiness, muscle weakness, skin flushing, constipation, or difficulty urinating, or agitation after using homeopathic teething products.
Wow.
Yeah. We used to just stick a damp washcloth in the freezer and then have somebody chew on it.
Yeah, that's
you just want to make sure your water is clean, your washcloth's clean.
And make sure you don't frostbite your kids' gums.
Yeah.
Well, that's unreal that they would be putting belladonna in babies' teething drops when it's not good for kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I want to even move on to the next item, but here we go. Benzene. First, to inform our listeners what the product is. It's a colorless, volatile, liquid hydrocarbon present in coal tar and petroleum, used in chemical synthesis. Its use as a solvent has been reduced because of its carcinogenic properties. I'm dying to know where and how humans are using this cancer-causing chemical.
Well, and it's the center of the Chemical Corps', logo, or not logo, but yeah. In February of last year, there was a recall of hundreds of personal spray products like deodorants, shampoos, sunscreens, and athlete foot treatments. And we'll have
with benzene.
With benzene, we'll have a link.
Wow. Well, it looks like these manufacturers don't really learn, or maybe it's that they don't really care, since a new recall was just placed out last month for a sunscreen.
And the last one chemical or compound that we're going to talk about is asbestos.
I know there was asbestos in talc or baby powder a few years back. I hope that's the end of it.
Well, those recalls have terminated, and the FDA has proposed a ban of ongoing uses of asbestos due to the risk of lung cancer.
Right.
And it can cause other cancers. But I think instead of talc, you should look for talc-free powders.
Okay. So anything that says talc-free.
Well, not anything, but yeah, you should look for talc-free powders if you want to avoid any potential asbestos contamination.
All right, because you said that asbestos and talc kind of are grown in the same rock area?
Right.
Okay.
So when you're mining for talc, you can accidentally bring some asbestos with it.
Got it. Well, I think that wraps up this episode on recalls of cosmetics. We're going to talk later on this year about other recalls,
and we'll have a lot of links on this website, and it's important to keep it up to date with the latest recalls.
Yeah. Well, the websites that I've been finding, they update every day. If our listeners have any questions or comments related to today's show, they can contact us at podcastdx@yahoo.com.
And if you have a moment to spare, please give us a review wherever you get your podcast. As always, please keep in mind that this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regime, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you heard on this podcast.
Till next week.